What's up, guys? Welcome to the podcast, guys, with Rob and Nando. We are going to get into a new topic today, and that topic is jealousy in relationships. Now, jealousy is a big problem in relationships, in life in general. You know, people get jealous of each other, both men and women. The definition of jealousy I have here is a complex emotion that involves a real or perceived threat to an interpersonal relationship. So this is when it comes to relationships. We can also say that it is a defensive reaction to a perceived or noticeable threat to a valued relationship. So jealousy, it shows weakness, it shows desperation. You know, people lose control and sometimes they get jealous of one another. When it comes to relationships, how troubling can jealousy be?
The truth is jealousy could ruin a relationship. I mean, this is something that both men and women are going to experience and display, and we've all been there, right, where you may think your girl's cheating or a girl thinks her boyfriend's screwing around or texting another girl. Sometimes it's something as simple as you see them talking to somebody else and you get jealous, right? It's a natural reaction, but it could end the relationship when it gets out of control.
Let's take a deep dive. Who gets more jealous, men or women?
I think men get more jealous when it comes to the possibility that their woman is possibly cheating on them sexually. I mean, especially if you know the girl, right? You know her body language. You've been dating her for at least a few months. You can tell when something's going on if she's talking to another guy. But women tend to be a little bit more psychotic when it comes to jealousy. So it's kind of a,
women are more emotional, mind related when it comes to jealousy, and men are more on the physical side.
Exactly. Women are going to be more jealous emotionally, or if they see that you have an emotional connection with another woman, and men are going to be primarily focused on, like, is she physically cheating?
So based off of that, do men get jealous easier than women do, or do women typically easily get jealous more than men do?
You know, in that regard, I think women are going to take that one. I think women are going
to take the L.
They're going to take the L on that one, because I think women get triggered. Women could get jealous over anything because you liked a girl's photo, you texted somebody. Like, women will get jealous over anything. For a guy to get jealous, it has to be something physical in person. Like, when guys get jealous, it's usually because you're out in a public setting and she was flirting with another guy, which in my book, that's like a valid reason to be concerned. Women will get jealous over anything.
I would say women get jealous over things that don't make sense.
That don't make sense, yeah.
And men.
You liked her photo.
Yeah, men get jealous over, serious things. Maybe you're talking to another guy and that upsets him. It could be, right in front of him. Maybe you're out at a club and you start dancing with the guy. It might come off as friendly, but it's really not. There's a lot. I mean, it can get very complex. Jealousy is a very difficult thing to deal with, but everybody gets jealous, and people have to find a way to overcome it in order to be successful within relationships, because if they don't, then jealousy can be consuming within the relationship and can totally, in my view, could totally ruin a relationship.
Without a doubt.
It's a big problem, and it goes, pretty much I likely answer my question, but do you think jealousy can totally destroy a relationship, can totally drown a relationship?
Yeah, because what will basically happen is if the jealousy gets out of control, a few things can happen, right? If a guy gets jealous, he could start to do crazy things like ask for her location, turn your location on. He might put an air tag in her car or something. Like, start to do like crazy behavior, and that's toxic. Number one, you shouldn't do that. It gives off kind of like psychotic behaviors. And on the female side, she may start arguing with you. She might start displaying passive aggressive behavior with you. She may just, at that point, if the woman's toxic, she might even just like do something back to piss you off. So that could lead to the end of the relationship. So
that's scary. I mean, if somebody stalks you or puts air tags,
people get psychotic over jealousy. Yeah,
that's crazy. That should never be done.
Nope.
People can get in trouble. Legally, by that, and it's just unnecessary. It's too much. If you think that he or she is cheating or doing something that is likely going to ruin their relationship, I say end the relationship. Cut it by the knees, end the relationship, and be done with it and move on to somebody else. So move on to improving yourself, and going in a different direction is better. Look for more positivity. I mean, that's a negative, toxic situation that you want to get away from. I don't see anything good coming from jealousy at all.
When guys get, and this is where the topic gets kind of like wishy-washy, when a guy gets jealous because he sees his woman dancing, like you said, with somebody else, or flirting with somebody else,
I've seen it.
That at that point is, I wouldn't even call that jealousy. I think at that point, that kind of sets off like an alarm in us. As a guy, if you see your woman physically doing something with another guy, you know what it is. You know what his intentions are, and you know very well that she may succumb to those intentions. So I think there's a fine line between like being overly jealous to the point where like you don't let your girlfriend leave the house, or like you try to track her location, like I said, or like she's not allowed to do anything. That's a little bit crazy. But I think there are valid times where, as a guy, you have a valid reason to be concerned.
Yeah, that's too much. I would say that's controlling.
That's controlling.
Manipulative, and that's just crazy, mentally screwed up in the head.
Yep.
You as a guy is going to go crazy.
Yep.
And then the woman is going to see that and realize that, hey, this is not a guy I want to be with, because if he finds out that I'm going out with someone that he might not like, he might flip the fuck out.
Yeah.
And that's something that, you don't want to be around people like that, man or woman.
Mm-hmm.
A woman can easily see her guy go out with a group of friends, and, there's both men and women there, but, she might flip out at that.
I'll give you a prime example.
She's not there, especially.
We talk about this all the time, right? If a man doesn't allow his girlfriend to go on a girls' trip, women might point their finger and say, oh, he's jealous. Not necessarily. I think that's just like a preventative measure. You know what I'm saying? You could argue that it's jealousy. You're jealous that she's going with somebody else and spending time with other people. But I think in that would be an example of more like a preventative measure. As a guy, this is a scenario I do not want for her to put herself in, and I do not want to put myself in that scenario as her boyfriend. So, but yeah, like you said, toxic stuff like that, like tracking, location. Number one, girls aren't going to play that shit. Like, she's gonna cheat. If she wants to cheat on you, she's gonna cheat anyway. And if she sees that you're psychotic like that, it's a turnoff for them.
Yeah, and if you don't want to deal with a woman that's cheating, just simply break up with her. Don't be with her, because you're not getting anything out of the relationship. You're just getting unstable, disastrous, just insanity within that relationship. There is no relationship when you're in that situation. Get away from it completely. It could be a guy, it could be a woman, either one, because anybody can get jealous of one another. Now, how do you know if someone is jealous? Let's say a woman sees a guy talking to another woman. How does that guy know that she's jealous of? They have nothing with each other. Like, they're not in a relationship. They're just friends. He's talking to another girl, but there's a separate girl that is jealous of them talking. Why do you think that would be? Where do you think that jealousy stems from?
Describe the scenario one more time.
So you have a guy, and then you have girl A, and you have girl B. Girl A is jealous of the guy that's talking to girl B.
Mm-hmm.
So,
like a pre-selection type of thing.
Yeah, like where do you think that jealousy comes from? Why do you think girl A would be jealous?
Number one, women are all in competition with each other, so that's first and foremost. When women get jealous, especially if you're in a public setting like you described, like let's just say the people aren't together, right? Women get jealous because they're in constant competition with each other. When women get dressed up and dolled up and they go out, you've all heard of women say like, "Oh, she's wearing the same dress as me. Oh, she looks like a slut." Blah blah blah. It's because that's also jealousy, by the way. It's because they're in competition with each other. So that's how I would interpret it.
Do you think that maybe she's jealous because she likes that guy? Is that a possibility?
Oh no, 100%. I mean that's the root that's the root cause of it. Jealousy is, I would say that's the root cause of all jealousies. If you have feelings or you care about or you're attracted to a person, yeah.
I think could be a bunch of things. I mean, I think number one, as far as relationships are concerned, men and women dating and all that, I think she would be jealous because number one and number two, jealous because she likes the guy, or if it's a guy that's jealous and it's another girl talking to another guy, then he likes her, and he doesn't want the guy talking to her. He wants to be the guy talking to her, or like you said, men and women, they're in competition. I'd say that women are more in competition with other women.
Yes.
Than men are in competition with other men.
Yeah.
I don't think men really give a shit about being in competition with men.
No. That's definitely a female thing, and that's why like they say jealousy is like, who was it? Jay-Z that said in the lyrics, jealousy is a female trait. I think it was a Jay-Z song.
I don't know.
Jealousy is more of a feminine thing, and that's why as a guy you also have to be careful not to display it too much because it's a natural thing, I think, in my book. But I'm telling you, when women see that you're jealous and you overdo it and you're overly concerned, it's a turnoff for them. I think sometimes women like to play that little hard to get game with you once in a while. So like if you display a little bit, I think it's okay. But I think when a guy starts to get overly attached and controlling, it could really kill the whole attraction. Mm-hmm.
This is where men have to have multiple options or work towards having multiple options if they're the average guy. Get yourself together in all aspects and improve yourself so you can have more options. That way you don't have to worry about just one girl and being jealous over one girl, drive yourself crazy over one girl, because it's not guaranteed that you'll be able to get that one girl to date you or be in a relationship with you. So it doesn't make sense to just drool over one girl. I mean, that's just
basically, come to think of it, I mean, jealousy is basically like it's like an emotion.
It's an emotion. Now, what emotions can stem from jealousy from both men and women? How can people react?
That's going to depend on the person and the severity of it, but it could be anything. It could be anger, outbursts. Some people, like I'm sure everybody's seen a World Star Hip Hop video at one point or another, and women go crazy over this stuff. When they say guys are crazy. When women get jealous, they'll come over to the house and beat the guy or the girl, and
they freak.
They get physical. Yeah,
fuck out. It's bad.
Yeah,
I mean, there's resentment, there's hostility, there's anger, there's all sorts of emotions. There's fear of losing the person to somebody else. I mean, to add on to what you were saying, it's crazy. It can be dangerous if you think about it.
Yep.
So that's why it's important not to let jealousy creep in and make you so emotional. If you're getting to that point and it's getting that bad, that's definitely not the person you want to be with, man or woman. Now, do you think jealousy is a challenge in the talking stage? Excuse me. Do you think jealousy is challenging in the talking stage? Now, think about it. The talking stage. You're not official. So that means that you're not monogamous, to each other. You're dating different people. But it's most likely that she's exercising all her options because she has more options versus you. You may have 0 options. You may have one other option. You may have 10 options as a guy. But the woman, she has a list of guys. You're just one of the guys on the list. So how challenging can jealousy be? Is it very easy for a man to be turned off and jealous by all that?
Yeah, I think that's actually probably one of the most common occurrences, especially early on. I think it's important to understand as a man nowadays that women are always talking to multiple guys. Let's be real. Nowadays, there's no such thing as a woman being completely single. Every woman's talking to at least somebody. Realistically, they're talking to multiple people. They always have one foot in the door, one foot out, and they already have a backup guy. So I think to avoid having jealous feeling, you just need to understand that that's the reality of dating, period, now. And you have to, like you said, also spin plates and have other options, and don't just lock focus on one woman, because that's when you're going to start to get jealous and be concerned with where is she, who is she with, oh my god, is she on her Instagram? It's completely unnecessary, and as a guy, that's kind of like simpish behavior.
The cold reality of life is that guys unfortunately have to figure it out. They have to figure out how they're going to have a backup plan. It's crazy because women, married women, have backup options just in case their marriage doesn't work out. Or if they're married, they have other options to go off and cheat.
Look, how common is it now for people to have a side girl, a side guy, a second?
It's happening. It's happening now as we speak. So I can see the talking stage being challenging. If you want a relationship with the person, you have to try to lock her in as quick as you can. But it's tough because everybody's different. I mean, you can ask a girl out to be official, but it may take a week. It may take a couple months. It could take 6 months. It could take a year. Who knows?
I would say a good way to play it is to show complete indifference, because we talk about shit tests a lot. Women will play shit tests and jealousy tests with you as well. So I'll give you an example. You're 3 weeks into talking, and she'll tell you, "Hey, we can't chill Saturday because I got something going on, or I'm going out with somebody," and they'll just leave it very vague. There could be a jealousy game that they're just playing with you. So I think, as a guy, your best bet is to just play complete indifference. You don't care what she's doing. You're not concerned at all. Who the hell is she? She could go to hell for all you care.
Yeah, you have to be neutral.
Yeah.
You have to show that you like her. You have to show a little bit, because if you don't show any interest, then she's going to be like, oh,
Yep.
well, he's not interested in me. I'm definitely going to exercise my other options.
Yeah.
But if you show little bits and pieces of interest, then that could reel her in. It's tough, though. Talking stage is tough. Some guys don't even realize there's a talking stage. They think that they're dating, and it's easy for them to get jealous.
Yeah.
Because
Women don't very easily. It's good you're bringing this part of it up. I think guys get attached far, especially early on. Guys get attached far quicker than women do. Women need a lot of time to get attached to a guy. It takes like she would have to be sleeping with a guy for some time to get attached. Women don't get attached like guys do.
yeah, because for a guy it's easy. I mean, you have to look good as a woman and have a good attitude, be kind, and that's going to pretty much reel the guy in. If you show some intimacy also from the get-go, maybe second date, maybe you're already kissing, third, fourth date, maybe you're already having sex. If everybody's good with that, and you're going to reel a guy in like that. I mean, it's going to be a blink of an eye, and the guy's going to be all goo goo gaga over you. It's going to be
Women will start to get emotionally attached through sleeping with a guy repeatedly, and that's when the jealous side comes out. In the beginning, I think most women don't really care, like, especially if you're like a few weeks into it. She's not going to really care if like you're talking to somebody else or you don't seem too interested. It's when they start sleeping with you and they catch feelings, that's when the jealousy will come out. So,
well, here's the situation. Trust. Can men or women trust their partner in a relationship if there's jealousy involved?
if there's jealousy, you probably don't trust them to begin with. And that's why jealousy is like something like, if you're noticing that going on early on, to me, it would be like a red flag, like a warning, like, you know what, this might be already starting off toxic. Tread carefully.
I mean, I have here that studies show that men are more jealous of sexual infidelity versus emotional infidelity, which women are
Makes sense, yeah.
more jealous of in that case when it comes to emotional infidelity. And there's studies that find that women are more jealous than men of their spouses opposite their sex friend, right? So it's challenging. It's a really challenging situation when there's jealousy involved.
You know, I'll tell you the lesson for this, for the guys watching, is to just leave the emotions out of it. You're a month into it, 2-3 months into it, leave the emotions out of it, because that's where you could screw yourself over. If you get emotionally attached and jealous and stuff like that early on, you're going to probably kill it. You're probably better off just playing completely indifferent. There's no emotions, no strings attached. And women like that anyway, because I'm telling you, when they see that you're too emotionally involved and too bought in, and some women will call it like love bombing, where you're too interested, you show too much interest early on, you could kill it.
I think jealousy causes a lot of miscommunication within relationships.
Correct.
There's things that people think that are happening. They're putting all these things in their mind, men and women, and they're creating the negative. that, oh, this is happening, so my relationship could break up because of this.
False like scenarios. Yeah.
False scenarios, illusions, and none of it is really happening, and that could cause a
That's
relationship
true.
to break up.
Yeah.
I see that as a problem. Is it possible to overcome jealousy and have a successful and fulfilling relationship?
Of course it is. You know, I think you first have to like come to terms with like what is it that's even going on. Like for me, if I really believe that she's screwing around or like she's an untrustworthy person, jealousy or not, I'm gonna know like, okay, I need to like tread carefully or just don't take this seriously or this is just a fling or what have you. But what you're referring to, I think more is just like, oh, like jealous feelings, like, oh, she's talking to somebody else or she has somebody on the side and just like all in your head, right? Like I said a moment ago, she probably is talking to somebody else, to be honest with you. Let's be real. Women nowadays are always talking to multiple people at a time. So I think the key thing here is to just accept that that's just the reality now. If you're hoping to find a woman that's only talking to you and she blocked every other guy on her Instagram and she has no side guys and her ex doesn't exist no more.
I think
that's the dating culture now.
that's rare. If you have a woman that's really exclusive to you, you better find a way to lock it down, because if you don't lock it down, then she's going to start talking to other guys and maybe she'll go off with another guy. I mean, I've seen women just like we've talked about before, you know, we've seen the most perfect relationships just end for no reason. So if you have a woman that's not being jealous, you're not jealous of anything she does, she's not jealous of anything you do, you know, that's a big green flag. Lock it down. As a guy, lock it down. But again, we don't suggest marriage. So lock it down, maybe a purely long-term relationship, you know, whatever way people prefer to go about it. But jealousy is a relationship killer. And, you know, I've seen scenarios. I saw, you know, a woman one time, she was out with her boyfriend, a bunch of friends, and I know them, of course. And the boyfriend was talking to another girl, and she was looking for him because she couldn't find him. And then she pretty much went up to him, and she's like, we're leaving, let's go. And they left, but I could tell in her eyes how jealous she was. Just because they were chatting, there was nothing going on. I've also seen women that are in relationships. They have a boyfriend, but, you know, there's guys that come around and that guy maybe has a girl or is talking to a girl or whatever the case may be, and she's jealous. She doesn't want that guy dating the girl, right? She has a boyfriend. Mind you, she has a boyfriend already. She's worried about that other guy dating another girl or talking to another girl. She'll, you know, probably talk shit about that girl. Do you think that girl is trying to...
That's like the have your cake and eat it too mentality.
Right. Do you think that girl is keeping that guy sort of like a backup plan?
Women always have a backup plan.
Using jealousy for that?
Yeah. Women, another thing worth mentioning, I think when it comes to like dating strategy, I think women are more strategic when it comes to that stuff. And like as guys, we just kind of like wing it, like, oh, whatever happens, happens. And women, I think, are more strategic, so they'll manipulate in that way. So
women are very controlling when it comes to jealousy. I mean, again, the smallest things, a like on a picture, and all up in arms. Or why'd you like the picture? She's, you know, she might be someone that is a cool person. It's cool people. You know the person. You have each other. You may not necessarily be friends because, you know, guys aren't usually friends with girls. They usually have intentions with that girl. But, hey, you know, people linger around. They're acquaintances, associates, whatever the case is. And, hey, he likes a picture. Big whoop. But that just drives girls crazy now because they're in this social media craze and it consumes them. It's like some psychotic thing that they have in their mind that, okay, he liked the picture or he commented, which that's like going way too far. A comment under a picture, forget about it. That's like, what the hell are you doing?
I've heard women say that like they prefer for a guy to not have an Instagram at all. And it's funny how that works because they're so like one-sided with it. Try asking a woman to delete her Instagram. First of all, let me know how that goes for you. But I've heard women say, we're like, oh, I want a guy that doesn't have an Instagram because it's a mature thing to do and all that. And like, shut up. Like you're just, and again, that's a jealousy thing, you know?
Guys that delete their Instagrams to satisfy a woman are the biggest simps.
Yeah.
Stupidest shit ever.
You don't have to delete anything, you know? It's like, because what these girls do is what you described is I know that women do this for a fact. They go into like FBI mode. They'll stalk your entire Instagram, who you're following. They'll start looking through their photos. And if there's any women watching, confirm whether I'm right or wrong. They will go into CIA, FBI investigator mode, and they will stalk your whole shit and figure out who you might be talking to and who your ex is and where were you and are you in the pictures and stuff. That's how psychotic they can get.
They'll look at DNA and fingerprints and look.
Yeah.
Look through a magnifying glass and figure out.
Social media contributes to the whole thing. It's true.
But it's funny because women are really good at hiding. They do a lot of the cheating, and they're really good at hiding it. But they'll find a way to find out whether their guy is cheating or not.
If you see, this is what I noticed. If a woman is out with girls, she will always post the girls. A video, a story, a group picture. If she posts a story and there's nobody shown in it, she's with a guy. If she posts herself at a dinner and you don't see anybody else, just the food, she's with a guy. Women always post pictures together when they're with other girls.
Most of the time she's with other girls and they're with other guys too. You know,
which is another one where they'll just post just the girls.
They could have a girls' night out, but as a guy, nowadays in today's dating atmosphere in today's society, do you really want to let your girl go out for a girls' night out? I'm seeing rare occasions where there's girls that are, there's some girls that are pretty loyal to their guys. And, I tip my hat to you because, and I'm surprised too, because most girls aren't loyal. Most guys have a right to be jealous.
And guess what? The loyal ones, they're not really the ones going out. You know how many times I was out and I ran into or I've seen girls that I know are married and you observe them from the corner, like on the dance floor, and you're just like, shit, like this girl has kids, she's married. And I'm just like, not my business. But to your point, the ones that are, because there are absolutely loyal women that you don't have to worry about and stress over, and they tend to stay home more,
Yeah. So final thoughts on jealousy and how it revolves around relationships. What's your take? What's your advice to men and women out there to deal with jealousy and have a successful relationship?
Very quickly, I'll break it into two parts. I think for men, the advice would be to do not emotionally invest into women, especially early on. She's definitely talking to somebody else. There's definitely another guy, if not multiple guys, that's in her DMs or that she hangs out with on the side. So don't even let yourself get to the point where you're jealous and to tie yourself up emotionally. And for women, just don't be psychotic. Don't look for fake scenarios to make up in your head to just be jealous about. If the guy's cheating, catch him doing it, call him out on it.
Yeah, I say for guys, don't, even if you're an average guy and you're making a decent salary, or even the high value guy, the richest of the rich, don't lead with your money. Be a normal guy and see how she takes it, and have your boundaries. And hey, if she's jealous, if you see signs that she's jealous of anything that you do, you got to have a talk with her and let her know, hey, this is how it's going to be. I'm not doing A, B, and C. You got to calm down. And if she continues being jealous, then you got to step away from that relationship. So we'll end it there. We are just about out of time. So we are on the road to 1,000. Guys, support the channel. We have a big surprise for you once we get to 1,000 subscribers. So subscribe to the channel, like the video. Follow us on TikTok. We are at the new X, so the Podcast Guys 5 on X, TikTok, and Instagram, the Podcast Guys _. We'll see you next time.